Another beautiful day in paradise working on equipment. So you might remember a video of me when posting this 410, had a really bad knock and all that kind of stuff. Well, so here it is. It's time to get inside and figure out what's wrong with it. First thing I did was a compression test, and I'm all the way at one end at 300 psi, then it drops to 280, then it goes to 420. This is actually close to what it should be. Then it drops again to 350. So none of these are consistent, which means something internal is wrong. Pulled it down. Mind you, as a side note, this guy had 600 hours on one oil change, and that's probably why it blew up. But there was a rattling noise. I said, I think there's a piston slap or rod knock. And here's the inside of the motor. I got the head off. Two things I took note of right off the bat. There's a looks like a crack on I don't know, you can't really see it, but on the left side of the picture there, you'll see like a circle on the shiny part. Well, that's a valve touching the piston, which means the piston came up too high, which would indicate, you know, a bad wrist pin or a crank bearing or something. Not a crank bearing, I'm sorry, a rod bearing. And then the piston, as it comes up, it travels too far and touches the head. Not really good. Also, if you listen real carefully, I'm going to rotate this. Obviously, as you see all the pistons go up and down, this guy right here makes a knock. And if I move the other pistons up and down minusculely, like by the, you know, millimeter or two, this guy right here doesn't rotate with the other cylinders. It delays a millimeter or two before it moves. So that means I have to pull this whole motor out of the case 410, hang it in the air, pull the oil pan, knock the rod out and piston out, and then look at it in person in my hand and see how bad the crank is. And if the crank is bad, then it'll need a new crank. At that point, you're at the point of either sending it out as a core and ordering a already good motor. Problem is those run for about $4 to $6 grand just for a good running, clean 0-hour motor versus rebuilding this. Problem is rebuilding takes a heck of a lot of time. And you know, the head's got to be inspected and checked, and I'm sure it's going to have cracks in it from all the heat. I don't know if I can flip this over. I'll have to rebuild injectors while it's out. All the cooling system is full of brown stuff because they never changed the coolant. It's just a big mess when you don't take care of things correctly. Let me flip this guy over. Here is the head, or the cylinder head. Oh, don't fall. I'm kind of looking at it. This is the first time I've looked at it, so you guys are seeing it firsthand with me. You can see how these guys are dirty, but this guy's been kissed, this guy's been kissed, which it shouldn't be. This guy's actually been kissed too. So in theory, this head may have gotten smacked way too hard. Ooh, I don't think it's supposed to do that. See, this is your chamber where the injector tip goes in, and that's where it's going to be spraying in. Obviously, this all has to be buffed down, sanded, hot tanked, and then a Magnaflux to look for cracks. But yeah, I'm sure this is not good. But anyway, this is what I do all the time. If you have something that's like this is kind of an extreme case. I do all sorts of things, you know, all the way down to servicing and changing oils on tractors so your engines don't end up like this. But in the meantime, actually, there's the proof right there. It says it was changed at 94 hours. This machine's got almost 700 hours now. So take care of your stuff, guys.